Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is the Flamehead97 here for another 2022 album review. I know it's been a little while since I last reviewed anything new when it comes to music. Last time I reviewed a new album was Fozzie's newest album, Boombox. So I'm here to review the new Motionless In White album titled Scoring the End of the World. This is their sixth studio album, first since Disguise, which was released back in 2019. So yeah, how did they follow up with Disguise? Well, tune into this review to find out. So this album has a total of 13 songs, so we'll talk about all 13 songs. So with that being said, let's go and get started with reviewing this new Motionless In White album, Scoring the End of the World. So the album opens up with a heavy song called Meltdown. The song is about 4.5 minutes in length. So yeah, it's definitely a heavy track. Definitely a great way to begin the album. I really like the song. So yeah, they picked definitely a great way to begin the album, of course. Definitely heavy. I definitely enjoy it when Motionless In White opens up their albums with heavier songs instead of like ballads and stuff. Nothing against our ballads or anything, but definitely enjoy it when this band opens up a new album or any album with a heavier track. So yeah, Meltdown, definitely a great way to begin the album. So track 2 of the album is the song called Sign of Life. This was pretty much another heavier track. Definitely another good one that I really enjoyed. So yeah, these first 2 tracks definitely off to a great start with this new album. That's all I'll say there for those songs. Definitely first 2 tracks start off definitely a great way with heavier music from the band. So yeah, these first 2 tracks are really solid tracks. So the third track of the album is Werewolf. Honestly, not the biggest fan of Werewolf. That may disappoint some people that click on this review, but it is just my opinion, of course. Don't have to agree with it. Just don't bash me in my opinion, because sometimes when people click on my album reviews, they tend to have this piss attitude and shit just because I don't like a certain song from an album or whatever, and it's just bullshit because it's just my opinion. I don't hate the song, I'm just not a big fan of it. Just get that clear out there right now. Not a bad song, just not too fond of it, not too big on it, so it is one of my least favorites from the album, if I'd be honest. Track 4 is Porcelain. This is another like radio-friendly type industrial-like song from Motionless In White. Not that I think their industrial songs are bad, but Porcelain is another like lighter song from an album along with Werewolf. But I personally like this more than Werewolf though, because I just can't get much into Werewolf. But Porcelain, I think it's a good song, so gotta give it credit there to the band for at least putting out a better song on the album, because I'm not a fan of Werewolf at all. But back to Porcelain, like I said, it's the better song between the lighter songs of the album. Well, at least out of the 2 lighter songs that I mentioned so far, those being Werewolf and Porcelain. So yeah, Porcelain, definitely a solid track. Again, track 5 of the album is Slaughterhouse, featuring Brian Garris of the band Knocked Loose. Definitely great collaboration here between Motionless In White and Brian Garris. This is like the heaviest song of the album. Not just of the album, but one of the heaviest songs that Motionless In White has ever put out and recorded. So yeah, man, it's definitely great to have this song, because it's definitely a fucking banger. You'd be wanting to headbang with each listen. It's definitely a heavy track, very aggressive. You got amazing screams from Chris Motionless and Brian Garris of Knocked Loose. So definitely a great song, and definitely a great choice for a single. So yeah, Slaughterhouse, definitely a very aggressive, heavy track. One of my favorites on the album. So track 6 is a song Masterpiece. This was another single from the album, and I definitely get huge Breaking Benjamin vibes out of this song. Definitely a great song. Sure, it's a ballad, but it does have some aggressive vocals from Chris Motionless later on in the song, so it's pretty cool. So it's kind of more of like a radio-friendly rock song from Motionless in White, but I still really enjoy the song. It's another one of my favorites on the album. And like I said, I definitely get huge Breaking Benjamin vibes out of the song, since it gives you that kind of vibe, you know. Because sometimes Chris Motionless from Motionless in White tends to sing like Benjamin Burnley from Breaking Benjamin, so that's why I pretty much get those kind of vibes out of the song. But still definitely a great song. You can pretty much tell the influence from Breaking Benjamin in the song, but it's definitely an awesome song. I really enjoy it. Definitely great lyrics, very relatable. So yeah, masterpiece, definitely amazing song for sure. I know it's a ballad, one of the lighter tracks, but at least out of this song, despite it being a lighter track, at least it's more enjoyable than songs like Werewolf, for example. So yeah, masterpiece, definitely an amazing song, and I really love it. Easily becoming one of my favorite songs of the year when it comes to rock music. So track 7 is the song Cause of Death. So with this song, we're back onto the heavier stuff. So yeah, Cause of Death is definitely awesome. I definitely like the way the song begins. It kind of reminds me of the opening riff of The Skies from their last album. But I think that was pretty cool, how the song starts and then it gets into these heavy ass aggressive vocals from Chris, the lead vocalist of this band. So yeah, Cause of Death is definitely another banger. Definitely an awesome song. So yeah, definitely another heavy track. Definitely really enjoyed it. So yeah, Cause of Death is definitely awesome. So if you're like that style more from Motionless in White, you'll definitely enjoy this, because Cause of Death was a banger, and I'm definitely glad, because it's an awesome song for sure. So yeah, Cause of Death, definitely a great one. So track 8 of the album is called We Become the Night. This was another song that I was kind of disappointed with, just like Werewolf. What am I saying? My bad, guys. So yeah, along with Werewolf, We Become the Night is another one of my least favorites of the album. This is more like a melodic song all the way through. You don't really have anything aggressive, and that's kind of disappointing, but it is what it is. Along with Werewolf, just another one of my least favorites. Not a bad track at all, just not too fond of it, I'll just say that. So let's go and move on to the next song of the album. So track 9 of the album is called Burned at Both Ends 2. This is a sequel to the song Burned at Both Ends, which is on their 2012 album Infamous, which is my favorite Motionless in White album. But yeah, it's definitely great to have a sequel song, since it's been about 10 years since we've had a song with this name from Motionless in White. I know the song could have been better, but it's still definitely a great sequel. I do prefer the original Burned at Both Ends over the sequel, but however, I still think the sequel is definitely good though. I really enjoyed it. It's got some great aggressive vocals from Chris, so it's pretty cool. Could have been a better sequel, honestly, but of course bands evolve over time, and I didn't expect this song to be as heavy as the original, but it's still definitely a great sequel, so I'll just leave it at that. So track 10 is BFBTG Corpse Nation. So this is pretty much a sequel to one of the songs from the last album, The Skies, but still pretty much definitely a good song. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, it's pretty much another sequel, if you want to say it that way. So it's pretty cool though. Definitely an awesome song. Another song that has some aggressive vocals from Chris. So yeah, definitely a great sequel, if you want to call it that, because Broadcasting from Beyond the Grave is one of the songs on The Skies, and this one's called BFBTG Corpse Nation, so pretty much a sequel to a song from the last album. At least that's what I get out of the song. So yeah, definitely a great one though, so really enjoyed it. Track 11 of the album is Cyber Hex, featuring Lindsay Schoolcraft, I think formerly of Cradle of Filth, so that's pretty cool. So yeah, the song starts off with like these chuggy riffs, and then it gets to this more like industrial side, but later on in the song and throughout the song you get some aggressive vocals once again. So it's pretty much like a mixture of industrial metal mixed in with metalcore, the song Cyberhex. So yeah, it's definitely a very enjoyable track, very epic as well. So if you like that kind of style from Motionless In White, where they take some parts of the song where it's industrial and then some parts of the song it's metalcore, if you like that kind of style within the same song, then you'll definitely enjoy Cyberhex, and definitely think it was a great way to start off the singles, because this is the lead single from the album. I mean, I know they released a song called Time Bomb back in like sometime in 2021, but however, that song didn't make this new album, and I think that's kind of disappointing because it was definitely a good song. But however, I still think Cyberhex was a great lead-off single from this album. So yeah, Cyberhex, definitely a great song, and I definitely like the mixture between the industrial style and the metalcore, so it's definitely awesome. So yeah, track 12 of this album is called Red, White, and Boom. This features Caleb Shomo of Beartooth. Not the biggest fan of Beartooth, don't think they're a bad band, just could never get much into them. But yeah, it's definitely cool though that Motionless In White has a song with Caleb Shomo, or whatever his last name is. I'm bad at pronouncing last names. But yeah, this is definitely a cool song. I mean, it's not one of my favorites on the album or anything, but it kind of does remind me of Beartooth, though it's pretty cool. It's more of like this punkish rock type feel song, kind of similar to any style of Beartooth pretty much. But yeah, it's definitely a great collab between Motionless In White and Caleb Shomo, or whatever his name is. Bad at the last name, my bad. But yeah, definitely a good song though. Could have been better, but I still enjoy it for what it is. Still definitely a solid and enjoyable song. I'll just say that for that. So the final song on the album is the album's title track, Scoring the End of the World. Definitely a good song. I mean, it's definitely not a heavy song. It's more of like another industrial song, so you can't really expect this song to be all that heavy, but I still think it's a great title track. I do think the song could have had more epicness to it. Could have been a mixture of like, it kind of should have been like Cyberhex, where they take like lighter parts or industrial parts and make it heavy. That could have been better to end off the album. Like, take like the lighter parts and then later on in the song you mix it with some aggressive vocals. That would have been cool. But however, I still think it's a great way to end off the album. So yeah, it's definitely a great song. Not disappointed, just wish it was a heavier track mixed in with some lighter moments. But however, still definitely a great title track. So what do I overall think of this new Motionless In White album, Scoring the End of the World? I definitely like it. I mean, I don't really like it as much as I did Disguise, because some songs on this album didn't really do much for me, those being Werewolf, We Become the Night, and Red, White, and Boom. Those three songs don't really do much for me, but the rest of the album is pretty solid though. So yeah, the standout tracks for me though would be Meltdown, Sign of Life, Slaughterhouse, Masterpiece, Cause of Death, BFBTG, Corpse Nation, and Cyberhex. Those are the standout tracks for me. Title track was still good though, but those are basically the standout tracks for me. But yeah, the most disappointing though for me would probably be Werewolf. Just could never get much into it, along with We Become the Night. So those are my two least favorites of the album, honestly. Not bad songs, just my two least favorites, if I had to be honest. So yeah, this album overall, I think it's a very solid solid album. We're done talking about the songs, my bad guys. But yeah, overall, I think it's a solid album from Motionless In White. It could have had more heavier songs, but I'm still thankful for what we got with the album, because it's definitely a solid album. So yeah, this album, I'd give this album a 8 8.5 out of 10. So, let me know what y'all think of this new Motionless in White album. And yeah, this is Flamehead 97. Let me know what y'all think of this new album from Motionless in White, Scoring the End of the World. If you haven't checked it out, definitely recommend it. Great band. So yeah, I'll see y'all next time. Peace.